Good evening, everyone, and welcome to our talk on vitamin B and really going in depth. So we have Dr. Justine Blainey-Broker here with us today and Dr. Udani. The information that's being provided today is based on an article by Dr. Jockers, and we have references made at the bottom of the slides, and you can feel happy to reach out. We realize there could be lots of questions, and Dr. Justine has made herself available. You can text any questions to her at the number on the screen. I wanted to welcome Dr. Justine. Dr. Justine is an amazing healthcare practitioner. She is a chiropractor. She leads an incredible multidisciplinary team. She is an author and a public speaker, and she really is passionate about her clients' and patients' health. Dr. Udani is our naturopathic doctor here at Justine Blainey Wellness Center. She is very passionate about women's health and stress and chronic pain. And she really, truly believes that everybody has the ability to make healthy and long lasting changes for their health. Please help me welcome both Dr. Justine and Dr. Udani today.
Hello. All right. We got great stuff for you today and so important. But coming up, we're going to have our outdoor workouts. We're going to talk about juicing and yummy stuff about juicing. I love that part from my own family. Talking about how to be healthy moms, healthy kids, how to do it all. And then one of my personal story with my family. How did we start up the wellness center? How did we stay together? You know, when my brother, my sister-in-law run the office, my husband and I are in the office, my kids work there, my mom works there. So how, do you have, 6, 7 of us in the family working in one business and how it all started? So that's coming up. But today we're going to talk about vitamin B. And this is close to my heart. I take vitamin B supplements. Being a vegetarian, it's super important. And many people are choosing a vegetarian route or just less meat in general. And I know that it helps me with stress. And I've seen the results with my own patients, and how it helps with stress response, how it helps with focus, how it helps with digestion, how it helps with skin. There's just so many things. B vitamins help your nervous system function better. So I've asked Dr. Udani to do this with me together. This is a very important topic for everybody, especially now when you're feeling stress, when you're feeling fear, when your body is not at its top for performance level. You want to make sure that you can be 10% better, 20% better. This is important to learn more about. Do you have areas of deficiency that you maybe are not aware of with these B vitamins, because they are crucial for you to be your best? So thank you, Udani. Lead us away.
Yes, amazing. So what Dr. Justine just mentioned, I know some of the symptoms of B vitamin deficiency and how they can really help with our body. So yes, absolutely. B vitamins are crucial for energy. It's crucial for metabolism. So, processing food. It's really important for your heart health. There's a lot of good heart healthy functions that B vitamins do. It's great for de-stressing as well. B vitamins help you calm down. It helps you work better, focus better. Your memory is better when you're having enough B vitamins. It's amazing for eye health, eye protection, and for skin as well. So B vitamins are really important for skin health, to get that glowing, beautiful skin. So let's go deep into some of the benefits of B vitamins. So a lot of times, you're going to see a lot of B vitamins in so many supplements, right? There's like vitamin D and B vitamins, vitamin C. Those are probably some of the most common vitamins you know of. So there's actually about 12 different B vitamins, and all of them they're part of the same family, so they work well together, and they're all important for a lot of the energy boosting, a lot of boosting the mood, helping with anxiety, with depression, a brain function, a lot of DNA. So they can actually go deep into the cell to affect DNA and cellular level processes. So there's a huge variety of benefits that B vitamins give you. And that's why we should try to have our levels topped up as much as possible. So who is at risk for B vitamin deficiency? So a lot of B vitamins, when we get it from foods and, through absorption, if you have any kind of digestive issues, then your B vitamins don't get absorbed as much. So, and especially if you're using certain medications like birth control pills, a lot of women are on birth control pills, and they actually can deplete your B vitamins. If you're on any acid blockers or PPIs for acid reflux, you can have B12 deficiency because the B vitamins are not absorbed. It needs a certain amount of stomach acid for it to be absorbed. If you're a smoker, if you have high stress all the time, all your B vitamins are getting used up, because you're stressful situation. Sometimes there's genetic disorders that can reduce the absorption of B vitamins. High performance athletes, because you're using it up, right? So you can be at risk for deficiencies. Poor diet, high in sugar. So sugar tends to deplete B vitamins, and it kind of replaces B vitamins when you're intaking it. So that can reduce your absorption as well. And some symptoms that can associate with B vitamins is memory issues, fatigue, sometimes nerve pain, so tingling in your fingers or your feet can be sign of B vitamin deficiency, blood pressure issues, a lot of skin, so dry skin, itchy, scaly skin. Acne can sometimes be a cause as well because of deficiencies, diabetes, cancer, hormonal imbalances, a lot of heart issues too. So there's a lot of, factors that are affected by B vitamins. And when they're low, you're going to get all of these different kind of diseases and symptoms. So yeah, Dr. Justine.
No, thank you, Dr. Udani. You can see that list is huge. Even just being on daily aspirin a day, how many people are on that, right? So, or using Tylenol or Advil for pain relief, all of that affects your B vitamins. So you want to be able to talk to a professional if you need to be using supplementation. Similar to me being a vegetarian, I need to be making sure I get the right supplementation and in the right amounts. Like, which B vitamins? Do I take a complex? Do I take B5? Do I take B6? Do I take B12? You want to be able to know those answers. Now, supplementation's cool, but you really do want to get it from the real deal food if you can, and then try and stop the foods that make the problem. And so foods that increase inflammation are going to cause a problem, and that's your refined fast foods, things with bread, conventional foods, your sandwich meats, your Tims, all right, your donuts, your muffins, your cupcakes, different sauces. There are different foods that increase inflammation. So check out our talk. We did a talk just on anti-inflammatory foods, how to reduce inflammation. We've done a few of those. Check that out so that you can be leading a diet free of inflammation as best possible. If you look at the signs and symptoms of inflammation, it affects, when you look at the body, that big, huge list on the blue area, inflammation and stress and an inflammatory diet literally affects every single part of your body. Like, there isn't something it doesn't affect. It affects basically from your eyes to your toes and every organ in the middle. So this conversation about reducing inflammation and having the right B vitamins is crucial for everybody of all ages. And the only way you know if you're at the right level is to have it tested. And so, Dr. Udani, how would you test if you had enough B vitamins?
Right. So there's absolutely, Dr. Justine. So, testing for B vitamins can be a little bit tricky unless you do specialized testing that can look at all the minerals, because, a lot of B vitamins are water soluble. So a lot of the tests you do from Life Labs don't necessarily catch it. Yes, you can test for your B12 for sure, and folate, which is B9. So those are the big ones we do tend to look at. But if you want to do more specialized testing, there are options available that you can test all of the B vitamins that are in the body. Yeah. So let's talk about why stomach acid is really important for absorption of some of these nutrients. So, 7 major functions of stomach acid is it really helps to sterilize your food. It helps to break down your protein. The acid activates enzymes that break down food. It helps to increase something called the intrinsic factor. So intrinsic factor is really important when you want to break down B12. So when you don't have enough of stomach acid, you don't get enough of the intrinsic factor. And when you don't get enough of that, you don't get enough B12 absorbed into the body. So this is why it's really important to make sure you have enough stomach acid. And with a lot of patients I see that have acid reflux, they're taking in so many, PPIs.
Sorry.
It's okay. They're taking so many. Gotcha.
Sorry.
They're taking so many antacids, so many PPIs to bring that stomach acid down, but it's actually stopping you from absorbing a lot of these minerals and vitamins you need, especially B12. So if this is you and you're noticing my stomach reflux is still there, acid reflux is still there, it's not getting better no matter how many antacids, no matter how many Tums I take, then come talk to me, because that could actually be a sign of low stomach acid. So acid reflux is a sign of either too high or too low stomach acid. So this is really important to get checked up to make sure that you have the optimal amount. So what are some warning signs when you do have low stomach acid? Because it kind of is like a protector too, right? Kills whatever comes into contact with. If you have too low, then you might get an overgrowth of bacteria, yeast, and parasites downstream in the gut. And some symptoms of this is, you get chronic digestive issues, chronically bloated, you get super tired, a lot of fatigue, you don't want to work out, you want to just sit on the couch and watch Netflix all the time. You forget why you came upstairs for, you're like, why did I come upstairs? I don't remember. You can have a lot of skin issues. Sometimes you can even get anemia. So a lot of women, we tend to be low in iron already. So when we have a lot of parasites in our body, we can actually get even worse of anemic symptoms. Anxiety, headaches, joint pain, muscle pain. These are all could be possible symptoms of bacterial or yeast overgrowth. And this is where I highly recommend coming to see a naturopath, because we do specialized testing to see which specific strains of bacteria and parasites you have too much of. Because that way you have a baseline of seeing, okay, this is how much I have, this is what I need to do to get rid of it and rebalance the body.
I just wanted to add to that, as a chiropractor, we see lots of people who suffer from headaches and migraines, or just low focus, like low memory, and they don't feel the energy. And we work together as a naturopath because they might be low in niacin, like a B vitamin. And as they add those B vitamins, they get better results with their chiropractic care. So it's a key to create that balance of what are the supplements that you need, because you may be not getting it from your food, or you're just not digesting it properly, as well as that spinal alignment.
Absolutely, absolutely. Because B vitamins are so important with the nervous system, right? They help the nerves fire well. They help protect the nerves. So it's really important to look at that as well to see what's going on. So let's talk about B12, right? So Dr. Justine mentioned, as vegetarians, we don't really get a lot of B12 if you're a vegetarian, because a lot of the B12 sources are source of meat. So eggs, fish, and things like that. So it's important to get most of that from your diet, but there's certain medications that will lower your B12 concentration. So if you look at here, there's colchicine, which is used for gout, sometimes for pain as well, some arthritis. There's a lot of acid blockers, so things like the H2RA or proton pump inhibitor. So these are these are prescribed to you if you come in with acid reflux or GERD. So what these do is they lower the stomach acid, so that way, it helps with the symptoms. But the bad side is that all these nutrients don't get absorbed, like B12. Metformin, so that's for diabetes. So a lot of people that take metformin, B12 deficiencies are common. And actually, a side effect of metformin is muscle cramps and muscle pain. So that's kind of worsens the symptoms that you already have. And, so these are important to kind of come in to check to see, okay, which prescriptions are you in? Because sometimes a lot of medication can reduce your B vitamins because of how it's processed and the way your body reacts to it. So let's go down the list of all the B vitamins and how and why they're so important. So let's start with B vitamin 1. Thymine. So there are two major forms. So one is water soluble and the other one is fat soluble. But B1 is really important for adrenal health. So your adrenal glands are like these two little tiny glands. They sit on top of your kidneys. They're really important for stress. So whenever you're stressed, it's the adrenal glands that are doing most of the work. They're releasing cortisol or they're releasing adrenaline to keep you, in that zone of genius where you're working well and not have a, fatigue and burnout. So B1 is really important when you're thinking about supporting the adrenal glands and the nervous system, the brain health and the nerve function, and even digestive motility. So having enough of vitamin B1 is really important when you are thinking about all of these systems. So what are some signs of deficiency of B vitamin 1? So you can get numbness, you can get tingling, you can get loss of appetite, a lot of muscle weakness, swollen foot or leg, and shortness of breath. So these symptoms can sometimes see all over the place, right? But what's important for you to know is that a lot of the nervous system symptoms that you might notice is probably due to either a subluxation or a physical issue within the nervous system, or it could be due to a reduction in some of these vitamins that are important for nerve function. So best foods that you want to add into your diet to increase your B1 are things like wild-caught fish, farm-raised, pasture-raised poultry, so chicken, eggs, a lot of grass-fed meat. So you can get B vitamins from dark leafy greens and black beans and green peas. But if your sense you're low in it, get tested. And you can have supplementation for B vitamins for you. B vitamin 2 is riboflavin. So riboflavin is amazing for energy production. So it's really great to boost your energy. It is fantastic for detox. So a lot of B vitamins, our liver uses it to detoxify a lot of things. So when we're low in it, that's when we get sluggish detoxification. So it's really also important for healthy red blood cells, for producing healthy red blood cells that can increase your energy. Okay, so all of these go hand in hand. Some signs of deficiency for B2 is it's called chelosis. So it's like where your lips at the corner starts to crack more, or you get a sores in your tongue, or sometimes on the skin you get itchy dermatitis. These could be signs of low B2. So sometimes children might experience this, like, they come with like cracked lips. They might complain of tiredness. So that's where you want to look into seeing, okay, we might want to supplement with B2 or add in some of the foods that are rich in B vitamin 2. So if you notice, a lot of B1 and B2 come from the same sources. There's a lot of that meat, the fish, the eggs, and leafy greens. So if you eat the same food, chances are you're going to get all of these B vitamins into your system. Now, I love this one, B vitamin 3, niacin. It is so amazing for skin. It's amazing for brain health and energy production, and for your heart too. So a lot of niacin, a lot of B vitamins, you can get them fortified in cereal, in grains, in breads, and things like that. They already come with some fortification of B vitamins. So it's really important to look out for any deficiencies to see, okay, maybe you need a little bit more than what's already coming in the food. So some symptoms of low B3 is, once again, you get that fatigue, because a lot of B vitamins help with energy production. It helps with stress reduction as well. You might have digestive problems. A lot of like confusion, so vertigo, poor concentration can be signs of low B3. And once again, symptoms can show up on the skin. And also things like sores in the mouth can be because of low B vitamins. So best food sources for B3 is, once again, we have some good poultry sources, fish, meats, also almonds, sunflower seeds, or nuts can be a really good source of B3, mushrooms and split green peas. These are some food sources you can get B3 from. B5, pantothenic acid. So pantothenic acid is this one and the next one, I would say, are my two favorites for energy production and for stress. So both of these will help create energy. They're great for heart because it helps to detoxify certain byproducts that the heart produces as it's pumping. You know, it creates waste, right? The heart is like a mortar, so it's going to create waste. So B5 and B6 help to detoxify that. It really helps with nerve function too. So a lot of nerves, it uses up B vitamins to help fire and get nervous signals going. So it's really important to make sure that you're increasing your B vitamins, or you have a good amount, so that way you get these symptoms or these deficiencies topped up. Yes, so B5, some symptoms are, once again, you might feel fatigue, you might have mood issues, so things like feeling tired, anxiety. Like one time I had a patient, she came in, she was really stressed out, and she was eating a pretty restricted diet. Like her appetite was kind of low, and all we did for her was really add in a good B complex B supplement that covered the whole basis of everything. And it really improved her health, because her body was low in it and she had all these different symptoms. And, by adding it in, it really helped her to kind of clear her focus, get her energy back, and, help with her stress as well.
I have a question about like diabetes and understanding like the burning feet.
Right.
What kind of things and questions would you ask about if it's maybe a diabetes concern, this pain in the feet and both feet? So it wouldn't be injury related, because it's one, it's burning, and two, it's both feet. A vitamin concern versus a diabetes concern.
Absolutely. So for that, we would probably do some testing to see, is it a nerve concern, or is it could it be an infection, right, with the soreness in the feet? So that's a good question, actually. So I would say if they come in with diabetes, I'm already thinking it's probably a diabetic concern. So blood sugar issues, they're causing the nerves to not fire properly. But if they're, let's say, relatively healthy and they're young, or, and they come in with these sore feet, then I would go with, okay, maybe, how is your diet? Like, what are you eating? Because chances are, if you're not eating well, then you're low in these B vitamins.
And could it cause like bilateral, both legs, achiness in your legs?
Yes, I would say it can, because it affects the nerves more. So it would be more bilateral, both sides, yeah, compared to one side, yeah. Yes. Okay, so let's go on to B6. So B6 is, you might notice in the aisle, specifically there's different supplements just for B6 alone or B5 alone. And that's because, B6 and B5 are used up in a lot of, a little bit more than the other B vitamins, in my opinion. They're just used up by the body a lot more. So, things like brain health, your nervous system, it uses up, heart, your blood, red blood cell production, circulation, especially for stress and hormone balancing. There's a lot of B6 that's being used, and there is 3 major forms. And usually with supplements, if they're good quality supplements, they tend to have the pyroxidine HCl form. It's easier for the body to absorb it. So this is where you want to kind of come in and see, is the supplement you're taking even good enough to absorb these B vitamins into your body? So I highly recommend coming in to see a naturopath or a nutritionist to see what kind of supplement would work for you.
Yeah, and you definitely just don't want to be wasting your money. Like, you don't want to be putting in your tank and literally it's in the toilet. Like, you want to make sure whatever supplement you're taking doesn't have the fillers, doesn't have other things that are detrimental to your health or interacting with other supplements or other medications.
Mm-hmm.
And you want to make sure that it's doing the job you think it's doing, and versus throwing your money down the toilet. So certainly important to get these B vitamins checked, and we'll have the right blood work or the right testing, the right questions asked in order to determine which one is best for you.
Absolutely. And oftentimes what I've seen is like a lot of these supplements don't have the right dosage that you need for it to be effective. So you are in effect kind of wasting your money because you're not taking in what's needed. So different supplements have different dosages, and we know what the optimal dosage for to take in this is. So some food sources for B6 is, a lot of the animal meats, so fish, poultry, and you can also get this from leafy greens and beans as well. Okay, and biotin is more of that hair mineral vitamin. So a lot of biotin can help with is forming the hair follicle, so lengthening it. It can help with skin. It'll help with actually kind of measuring and lowering blood sugar as well as nervous system, producing energy. And it's really important for a healthy pregnancy as well. So biotin is really kind of works all over the body, and you might see this in a lot of like hair growth supplements. A lot of people have biotin added to it, or even biotin in the shampoos and conditioners that you might be using. So some signs of deficiency for a biotin is you can have, tiredness, once again, fatigue. You can have just high blood sugar, mood issues. You might even have like skin conditions. Hair loss could be a sign of deficiency as well with biotin. And most of biotin you do get from a lot of animal sources or meats. So this is where if you're a vegetarian or vegan, you want to look into getting a good quality supplement to, supplement these B vitamins. Now, if we talk a little bit about B9, so this is folate. And folate is essential for a healthy pregnancy. So you need to get the right amount of folic acid so that you have a healthy pregnancy. And with low folate, that's where you tend to get birth defects. So a lot of the neural tube defects. So the nervous system isn't developed properly if you're low in folate when you're pregnant. So vitamin B9, so folate, is really important to make sure you're getting enough. A lot of doctors will test you for folate. And even myself, especially a patient comes in with anemia, I would tend to test them for folate because it helps with creating red blood cells as well. So that's one of the B vitamins I test for, just to make sure that you're good, because a lot of people tend to be a little bit on the borderline in my experience. Okay. So importance of vitamin B12. So B12 is another, the last B in the family so far. But it is actually can come in different forms. So there is four major forms of B12. And the most absorbable one is the methyl B12, so the methylated form. So if you're looking at a supplement, make sure you look at that in the ingredient list so that okay, I'm getting the right form that is going to be absorbed into the body. Sometimes you can get B12 drops you put under the tongue, lozenges in the form of B12. So there's many ways you can get it into your system, but we want to optimize your stomach acid just so that you can get this from food as well. So B12 is really important for nervous system, nerve firing, making sure they're functioning well, helping the nerves grow. A lot of the heart health is important with B12. Liver detoxification, B12 is used up with that as well.
Now, how would you know if you need B supplement versus a B injection, right? Like I know that sometimes where I've been low energy, my naturopath would give me an injection in the arm with the B supplement. So how do you know which one you need or how often you need it?
Right. So if you come in with severe fatigue, then it's better to do the injection because it's going to bypass the gut and it's go straight to your bloodstream. So sometimes you might need to do that bi-weekly, so once every 2 weeks, for some time to bring those levels up, especially if your B12 is really low in the lab testing. So yes, if you're really fatigued, then a B12 shot is better, in my opinion, than doing drops, because it'll just go straight to your bloodstream. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, so that's why B12 is really important, and a lot of we do test for that with naturopathic lab testing, and there's a lot of comprehensive blood analysis to do, where these are specialized tests. This is not the test you go to life labs and wait in line to do that. These are more like they're test kits that you do at home and you send out. Usually they are done in the States, so it's a little bit more comprehensive. A lot of things are tested. And, this is needed, especially if you're coming in with a lot of issues and you're wondering, like, what's going on? I want answers. So things like you have fatigue, digestive concerns, sometimes even like nerve pain, liver and kidney issues, inflammation, thyroid issues. So this is where comprehensive blood analysis can really help to figure out, do you have some kind of nutritional deficiency, and how can we help with that? So one of the tests that is called an organic acid test, so it's called OAT test. So this is a really specialized test that you can do to test a whole bunch of things. So it will test microbial overgrowth. It's going to test to see how your kidneys are doing, how your B vitamins are doing. And I'll give an example. So I had a patient that just do this test recently, and her results came back where her B vitamin markers were super low. So she was burning through all of her B vitamin storages, and because she was always so stressed, always on the go. So she had symptoms of fatigue, and she actually had some weight issues as well. So that's when we saw those results, we realized, okay, we need to top up your B vitamins. We gotta get you back to how you were before. So something like an organic acid test can really help you figure out how your vitamins are metabolizing, how your gut is doing, how your liver and kidneys are functioning. And it's just a little bit more complex and in depth, especially if you want more answers to whatever it is you're going through. So you can also do something called a comprehensive nutritional panel. So this is where we test all of the main vitamins and all the main minerals, the amino acids you need for energy, for a lot of the process in the body, and a lot of the antioxidants and carbohydrates. So this is a comprehensive nutritional panel to see where you're standing. If you are noticing that you're just really low, you feel really tired, you have all these symptoms. So this is something that I recommend if that is just to get a lot of the answers.
And similarly, what you test is then where you're at, and you also have a baseline for where you're at, because many times we think we're doing okay, but we're really functioning at 80%. And what if you could be functioning at 90%, and you don't know if you're at your full potential unless you have things tested. Even with your blood pressure, you get that checked regularly. You get your blood work checked regularly. You get your teeth checked regularly. You get your eyes checked regularly. We still need to see if we're getting and absorbing our food properly and absorbing those nutrients. And even though I thought I was doing everything right, I did need to add the B12 and the B5 in order to get the best results so I could be my best. So, and yet I thought I was full of energy. I didn't feel like I needed it. So I'm just pointing out that it is so important to have your full team, your healthcare team, to know what is best for you. And this is a B complex, and it's something that I would take, but that's not necessarily what's custom to you, right? And so seeing the naturopath and finding out, hey, maybe a complex is great. You're going to function well with that. But I have had times where I've had to add B5 to my complex based on my naturopath's recommendations. And maybe not forever, but just to get me that boost, get me functioning better, and then go back to a regular B complex supplement. So certainly, when you test something, you know something. If don't test it, you're really sitting in the dark, and you could be leading towards more chronic concerns, not functioning at your optimum best, not having the focus or the concentration that you really could have, simply because you think I'm okay, or, I don't feel like I have a problem, so therefore I'll do nothing. That kind of mental response actually can lead to more damage long term, and certainly so much harder, so much more money to correct if we don't be proactive versus being reactive. So it's certainly, I know Dr. Udani and I feel the same way. proactive approach to your health, a team approach to your health is how you're going to be the best for you, for your family, for your work, for the things that you care about. So the nervous system is, as you heard Dr. Udani, you heard all these B vitamins. The B vitamins affect your nervous system. And so as a chiropractor, I'm an expert in finding and removing those misalignments, those subluxations, but we need to make sure we have the right gas, the right nutrition for your nerves to function well. And that's the reason of this term, team approach. I want to work with your naturopath, with your nutritionist. I want to make sure that we're going to be able to help you get the best alignment, the best focus that you can have. And that means getting your B vitamins tested, getting your blood work tested, doing some of those OAT tests or full comprehension tests in order to know what you need and make sure you have a full customized approach for you to be able to be functioning at 100%. So stay tuned with us. I hope you love this information about B vitamins. It is so important for you and your family and your kids during these stressful times because you're going to burn up this B vitamin more than ever before and not even know. All right. So coming up, we have workouts. We have information about juicing, which is great over the summer to have those healthy juicing, get more veggies into your diet that way. Learning about being healthy families for moms and dads, and learning about just how did our center start. So we love to share with you, share this information with family and friends, and we look forward to being in touch with you soon. Do a review. That helps others stay in touch as well. So love you and see you soon.
See you soon, everyone.